Thomas the Quarry engine? More like Thomas the normal engine. Oh my god, this episode of Thomas and Friends sucks. Here are the reasons why I hate this episode in my opinion. The episode starts when in one day, there is a big order of stone to be taken from Quarry to Brendam docks and Thomas and Diesel are sent to collect it. However, they are unable to agree about which of them is going to be the back engine. Thomas thinks it should not be him because it is his branch line, but Diesel insists having a revolutionary diesel on the branch line is bound to improve it. Thomas and Diesel are still bickering when they arrive at the quarry. Mavis is not happy. She thinks they should count themselves lucky. Mavis works in the quarry all the time and rarely gets to see the rest of the island. Thomas asks if Mavis would like to be his back engine, but Mavis says there is too much to do at the quarry. Thomas tells her that Diesel can look after things while she is away. Mavis thinks this is a lovely idea, but Diesel does not. He couples up to the back of Mavis' train and tells her that he is going to be her back engine on their trip to the docks. Mavis asks Thomas if he would mind looking after the quarry for a while. Thomas is not particularly happy with the idea of staying at the quarry all day. Mavis warns Thomas to watch out for the troublesome trucks, but Thomas says he knows all about dealing with trucks. Thomas sets to work at the quarry. He fills up all the empty trucks and then pushes them into line, but Mavis was right, the trucks at the quarry are extremely troublesome and do not like being moved. Thomas begins to lose patience and hopes that Mavis and Diesel return soon. Mavis and Diesel have just arrived at the docks. Mavis loves being beside the seaside and thanks Diesel for letting her come with him. Mavis knows she needs to get back to the quarry, but Diesel spots another goods train destined for the shunting yard. Diesel tells Mavis that they could do the job together, too. Mavis reluctantly agrees. Back at the quarry, Thomas hears an engine approach and assumes that it must be Mavis and Diesel. Unfortunately for Thomas, it is just Toby and Henrietta taking some workmen home for supper. Thomas explains that he needs to get the troublesome trucks to the docks and is in need of a back engine. He asks if Toby will help him, but Toby thinks there are too many trucks for him and he has his own job to do anyway. Thomas is upset, but Henrietta tells Thomas to be patient. At the shunting yard, Mavis and Diesel have delivered a goods train. Mavis tells Diesel that she has had a great time, but she really needs to get back to the quarry. Tricky Diesel spots another goods train that they can take to Vicarstown and persuades Mavis to come with him to deliver that one, too. Thomas is still waiting at Quarry and is becoming more and more impatient. He knows that the Fat Controller will be very cross if the trucks do not get to the docks in time. Thomas thinks that pulling the trucks on his own, without a back engine, will impress the Fat Controller, so sets off with the heavy train of stone trucks. When Thomas reaches a hill, the trucks start playing their tricks. They hold Thomas back as he tries to climb the hill. When they reach the summit, they decide to push him instead. Thomas is pushed down the hill at tremendous speed. Neither Thomas nor the brake van is strong enough to stop the surging trucks who push Thomas towards Maron Station. Toby is at the platform and Thomas calls out to warn him. Luckily, a quick-thinking signalman is able to switch the points to divert Thomas onto a siding. Thomas hits the buffers hard and some of the trucks come off the rails. Just then, Mavis and Diesel pull up. Mavis is surprised to see Thomas and asks for an explanation. Thomas explains that he decided to take the trucks on his own because they had been taking so long. Diesel acts innocent and says to Thomas that he had told Mavis several times that they needed to return to the quarry. Thomas, Toby, Henrietta, and Mavis are not happy with Diesel's lying, but the Fat Controller is very cross with the scene in front of him. It is not long before the trucks are put back onto the rails. The Fat Controller tells Thomas that even if Mavis and Diesel kept him waiting for a long time, he should never have taken the trucks without a back engine. Thomas apologizes and says he was just trying to be useful. The Fat Controller sends Mavis back to the quarry to do what she does best, but he does realize that every now and again, it is nice for Mavis to see the rest of Sodor. So, later that day, Thomas acts as Mavis' back engine as they deliver another trainload of stone to the docks. When they arrive, Mavis is so happy that she starts singing, and soon everyone at the docks joins in too. And that's how the episode goes. I don't know who likes this episode. But do you know who hates this episode? Muck. He hates this episode with a burning passion. I don't know what else sucks or is better. Anyways, end of rant.